Hello, YouTube. This is the Galley La Podcast, and today we're going to be reviewing One Piece Manga Chapter 1149. 1 second. I am Akainu Fanboy. The other guy's Geboss. Please like and subscribe if you are not. Leave your comments below on your thoughts on the chapter and our thoughts on your review. So, we have no cover story, so that's a plus. And we just get straight to the good stuff of the left hand of the Pirate King spawning in.
Yeah.
I
I just want to say right off the bat, this is one of my favorite chapters in a long time. Like I've liked,
you get a lot.
Really quick. I liked all the other chapters, but this one, I don't know. There's just so much going on in it.
Right. And yeah, you definitely get a lot. You have you have Scott Gabon here, and it's just like something we've been theorizing like for so long. But like, oh, when's he gonna come into the story? And now he's here, and he is like expressing he's rusty, but he comes in and just like annihilates him.
Yeah,
like it's just crazy power feat right here. Especially we saw how much the Straw Hats were struggling with the God's Knights too.
Yeah. I think we can confidently say that Scopper has conquerors because of the black sparks and everything from this, and especially with something later on in the chapter. I feel that that he's going to mirror Sanji in a lot of ways, and this could prove that Sanji could get conquerors in the future.
Fully, and it's a good feat right here. Definitely just good Sanji feed, and we're seeing Scopper just kind of like going at her right here. It was kind of funny to say, Luffy and Zoro were totally overwhelmed by him. It's like, I mean, I guess, we didn't say Luffy go Gear 5, but we're seeing him move in right here, and the pirate key, the One Piece pirates are kind of taking it in. So it is like a good demonstration for him. They're kind of in awe, even though they're like a Yonko crew at this point. They're still in awe of Scopper, even at this point.
Yeah. Of course, it's Jinbei that's like, oh yeah, he's equal to Rayleigh. He's the one that's dropping all the lore.
Yeah, and then he gives the priceless analysis that Robbie, you can't do it. It's a bad matchup, And Summers, look, I'll give Summers some respect too. He still does a little bit of fighting here.
Yeah, I mean. He has some like good coverage, like with putting all the spikes in the floor and the giant like tentacle thorn things. But I mean, it's Scopper.
He has some pretty good durability even losing his hand,
Well, so later on in the chapter we see like this doesn't kill Summers. So this is something that can stop them from generating, but not kill them. So I think that's interesting. And I have a little bit of theory that I can go on toward the end of the chapter, but but yeah, this panel where Scopper cuts Summers in half was really cool. It reminded me of the panel where Killer cut off Hawkins' arm,
right?
Because you don't get a lot of the action lines and everything. It's more of just a white background, more for emphasis. And I don't know. I just really like the flow of the fighting in this chapter. It felt really easy to follow.
I do too, and I think this was also like, I want to really undercut our expectations here, because we thought the Holy Knights were going to be hype tools to show how strong the Straw Hats are. So it was really Straw Hats were a hype tool to show how strong the Holy Knights were for Scopper to come in and make short work of them.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of interesting. And then it was just kind of like, and it did make me sad too, like to see the library on fire, with killing him, getting that set up. And it's rough, it's like definitely like a rough thing to see. And I think as like a One Piece fan, it like gets you like emotional to see the lore and you see Robin and Saul like just kind of like in pain over it. So we're just kind of reliving the O'Hara incident again. Like even though we have like all the Straw Hats and Scopper, the Holy Knights are still like making some progress here.
Yeah. I will cope though that they only just started the fire, so there's an opportunity to rescue at least some of the knowledge.
And it is interesting to see the Jarl is like emotional about it too.
Yeah, I think maybe, I don't know, the Jarl stocks as a villain are going down, especially with this and last chapter.
Yeah, either that or he's like having second regrets on everything, but we'll see. It was, I don't know, pretty. Yeah, it was rough, and then we go back to kind of Gunko over here, and
well, yeah, it
was, we had the.
Well, I was just gonna say it's sad with Ranja and everything, saying that basically that she's sorry for being alive, and and everything. It's kind of like Robin in a way.
Yeah,
but I hope maybe like Robin could have a moment saying that it's worth living or something.
Yeah,
tie back to her big moment.
Right. And yeah, so Scopper kind of shows up, and we're kind of, I don't know, have the sense of like, oh, well, Scopper will make short work of her, to be honest. And but instead, like, Colin gets played in, which he's not the sharpest guy in the world because he's his dad, and I mean, granted, he has a kid for sure, right? But then Gunko's like, oh, okay, that's perfect, thanks, so she just goes immediately for his son, and like I said, it shows a level of confidence and cruelty with them where they're just not the stupid celestial dragons, but there is like some good wit about them too, so I thought that was like really good to see, to see this like play out right here. And this was like another thing, like too, it was sad to see Colin and Colin's like ready to give his life and everything like that too. And you see some great flashbacks with Scopper and everything, and I think it's like interesting the contrast they're portraying him compared to Rayleigh, and I think it's something Sanji would be similarly like in the future. Like, I think one day he would probably, I mean, I don't know, like this would be Two Piece or whatever, but like would become a dad at some point too, because like in this one he's like feeding the kid, right?
Yeah, he's well, I think Colin's just been born and everything, and I don't know these couple panels showing that Scopper being a proud dad and everything, I don't know, it just hit me in the feels. Is really heartwarming. And like you said, I do think that it could be more of a Sanji thing. Like I feel like this would be in character with Sanji, like drawing parallels there.
Like treating his kids well, even though he was abused as a kid and everything like that.
Yeah, but Scopper is like, okay, if I can, I take out Gunko, you can put out the fires and rescue the kids, and Elbaf will be saved. But just because he's not willing to put his son in danger, it's a potential that all of this could be lost, because we see, tying back in with Sanji again, potential like observation hockey thing. He has future sight to see into the future. So
yes,
yeah.
And he says like this is a treasure of a lifetime in the flashback, which I thought was kind of interesting because, like I said, it's a portrait difference with Rayleigh. Rayleigh's kind of a drunk, just chilling, while Scoffer's kind of like the family man, basically, and I think what's kind of interesting, like the translation could be different, and maybe I'm reading too much into it, but kind of like maybe he values this treasure more than like the actual One Piece itself, in a way, and obviously this is about to be taken away from him, and yeah, it is hard to see like Scoffer like get emotional, kind of turn into like a whimpering person, and kind of takes the hit right there, and yeah, it's definitely brutal to see, and you feel a degree of like helplessness right here, because like he does go he drops down, and then we kind of get this weird transition over to Gunko.
Well, before we get into that, I just want to say that for the first time in probably like 100 chapters, Chopper is actually doing something.
So true.
Like he's actually showing agency rather than like being dragged around. Like he leaves Saul and saying like he identified that Scopper is important to taking down these guys because he can get through their immortality. And then we see him like he's jumping off the cliff after Scopper. So I wonder if they're gonna maybe meet up with Luffy and Sanji and Zoro and Loki down the lower world. Maybe that's how they get up there, but yeah, I will say rare Chopper W.
Yeah, it would be more of a W if he healed Scopper and Scopper gets back here quickly, because the Straw Hats are screwed at this point above, which that's a good, fantastic feeling to feel like the Straw Hats are actually in danger right now.
I mean, maybe he has the mink pill.
So true. Then it's over.
Yeah.
It's over. Emu's done for. But like, this does like look worse about Jinbei. This is another chapter where he hasn't done anything.
Yeah. I mean, he's still trapped up in the thorns and everything, but because the thorns are still active, because Summers is still alive. But
yeah, it's just they're getting dominated just by one Holy Knight, basically, more or less.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, I don't know who can help out the Straw Hats above, especially with this next section right here.
Yeah, this is not something I was expecting. Like, I think both parts relating to Gunko here.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we see that that Colin yelling for his dad triggers like a flashback in Gunko, and it looks like Brook in a flashback, because we know that at least with like the Gorosei, they are not they're older than they appear, so that it could be this possibility with Gunko. So she gets like a memory. Potentially we could be getting a Brook flashback, and
powerful.
Yeah, and seeing like Gunko is like either a daughter or somehow related,
or adopted kid.
Yeah. Yeah, and that at least ties back to Gunko being a fan of Brook's music and everything. I love how Oda's like, oh, you think this is Usopp's arc? No, it's a Brook arc, actually.
Let's go.
I mean, to be fair, Brook is one of the least developed of the Straw Hats, I feel. So I feel like this could help.
Last time he got a solo fight was what? Fishman?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been a while.
Yeah.
On that front. You know, I mean, Robin didn't have one since like Skypiea though.
Yeah. But I'm not even talking like that. I'm talking more with like his backstory, because we started kind of like as an adult. Sure. We don't see him as a child or anything. But
yeah, there's a lot of ambiguity with him for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, we get Brook saying like, oh, they really do look alike, and he's apologizing for something, which I'm interested to see what the official translation is for this, because it could change the context of their relationship or exactly what Brook's talking about. But yeah, there's a lot to talk about with that. But I mean, before we even can kind of process that, we get thrown right into Gunko with Emu possessing her, which is not something I think I was expecting.
Yeah.
For this. But yeah, what did you think of this?
I'm not gonna lie, for a brief second, I thought like Gunko was just gonna be emo. Period. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this is like an indication of emu being a girl now.
So I have a theory.
Dun, dun, dun.
So potentially, because I've watched both the dub and the sub of the emu thing where he's talking with Cobra, and they both use a mix of male and female voices. So potentially, it could be that emu is possessing them, and like emu doesn't have like a not a solid form, but like it's not, emu isn't human, because like when Gunko transforms here, we can see like one of her eyes or both of her eyes turn to emu's eyes, but even before the possession, one of her eyes looks like emu's, the left one.
Yeah.
So it could be that that emu can possess people's bodies, like we see like right here, like he's assuming direct control. So potentially the body that showed up on the throne isn't even emu's original body, and potentially it could be Lily's body.
I see.
Yeah.
Huh. That's interesting. Yeah. Just like a spirit kind of thing.
Maybe not like a spirit, but like, because I still have this theory about the Gorosei not being devil fruit users, but being like actual, like some form of devils, and that could be what emu is too.
Yeah. What about the God's Knights?
We would have to see, because we also see with the oh shoot, I forgot the point that I was gonna make, but yeah, I think potentially that's what I think's going on with emu. But what do you think? Do you have any?
No, yeah, I think those are fair assessments. I do find it interesting that he chose Gunko out of all of them, so maybe he felt like Gunko having a change of heart, maybe, you know? Which, because at first I was like, oh, you know, they lost Summers, but they're not doing super bad for the most part. But because it looks like Gunko was breaking hold of something in a way, you know? Just please don't do it, you know? Like, don't have Gunko be a good person, which they're indicating is going to happen. Don't, please don't do it. I mean,
I think it would be interesting, given like the history with Brooke, and that could give Brooke more motivation if she stays like possessed, or because it seems like she's somewhat brainwashed.
Yeah, it's just we've been doing this trope so often lately. It's just getting a little tiresome at this point.
Yeah, but I think that Oda's doing it in such a way that it's more interesting. But
yeah, I get that. I mean, it's better than her being a Jenny clone, and it wasn't that a theory.
Yeah,
and then it was Kuma's wife.
Yeah, well, I saw another theory that it was that she was Koala in disguise because they have similar hats. But
okay,
I'm glad that didn't turn out to be true. But
yeah.
But speaking of Koala and the revolutionaries, though, we do see that Emu assumes control and says that the Holy Land is currently in a sea of flames. And does this mean that the revolutionary is Dragon finally looking a different direction than east?
So that seems to require additional military support.
Yeah.
For the Kingdom of God. It's interesting because he feels the need to send reinforcements to here, though, not the Holy Land.
Well, it could be that like Emu's directly communicating with them, So
Yeah.
um,
But he seems to like doesn't see the need to send reinforcements to the Holy Land, but to where they're at. You know,
well,
it's kind of an interesting way to say it.
It could be like maybe forcibly drawing them back, and that could resolve this situation because it seems like they're really like, I guess Frankie and the Giants are coming, but I don't know if they would be able to handle like Gillingham and Gunko, especially Gunko possessed by Emu.
Yeah, because it says, "What's with all this commotion? The Holy Land is currently in a sea of flames. Thou seems to require additional military force."
Mm-hmm.
And then Emu will show the dominion of God. So I guess you could kind of say, you need to get your crap together, come back to the Holy Land, and then also I'm just gonna like start obliterating people so we can just wrap this up.
Yeah,
and then you guys need to come back,
and maybe,
because
maybe you can forcibly take them back through the abyss.
Mm-hmm.
But
what was the whole thing? Why Shamrock had to leave again? I'm blanking on the reason.
They needed him back at Mary Joie, so.
Okay, so the revolutionaries might actually be doing something.
I know, shocking.
Yes.
But yeah. Oh, I remembered the point that I was going to make really quick. We saw in the mural, like the big monsters and everything. Emu could be one of those, like as the true form, and it possesses people. That's the point that I was going to make.
Gotcha. Okay. Oh, I did look up on the wiki real quick. Yeah, there's a dire situation taking hold.
Yeah.
Of Mary Joie. Yeah. So.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think there's about 85% chance that Akainu just started destroying Mary Joie by himself.
I mean, it does say a sea of flames.
Okay. That interaction with Kuma woke him up, and then the broadcaster Vegapunk, he's just soloing all of the Holy Knights by himself right now.
Yeah. Well, when I read this, I had to see exactly like the last thing that Dragon was doing, and he was saying that people are not going to be taking this seriously until it's too late, and that it would be the time to he has to get moving, basically. And then we see
maybe he should look in the mirror about taking things seriously.
Yeah, but especially hypocrite. Like with Ginny.
Yeah, what a hypocrite, bad person.
But we did see, like Blackbeard was talking with Lafitte because Lafitte was spying that the revolutionaries were destroying the gondolas going up to Mary Joie. So
yeah.
So yeah, a lot of stuff is happening. So do you think that we
Akainu versus Dragon, maybe?
Oh, that would be interesting.
Yeah, because I think like that. I mean, obviously we saw him go up there when Kuma was destroying everything, so he would still kind of be hanging around too.
Yeah, if we see like actual dragon feats, like I feel like a lot of people would be shut up, but at the same time, it's like, why did it take you so long to do anything?
Yeah, I mean the fraudulence of the revolutionary armies will always stay because it took them so long to accomplish anything. It required Fujitora helping them out for the revolutionary commanders to get away, basically. So I think that's very interesting. I find it interesting that Shamrock and the Gorosei can't take care of it all by themselves.
Yeah, I mean that could definitely put the revolutionary stocks up, especially with Lindbergh, the greatest character. But
yeah, so it could definitely get the hype for this arc and really increase a bit. But like if they're all taken away, well, what does that leave for the Straw Hats? Just Loki and that's it, right? Unless Big Mom shows up too, and I've been saying that like every chapter review now.
Yeah. It's basically Loki if we remove this part of the plot. But yeah, I don't know if I would like that conclusion to this. I think it would feel kind of abrupt.
Yeah. It would be a solid L for all the Straw Hats.
Yeah.
I mean, not all, minus the Monster Trio, but like all the others would look pretty terrible, especially Jinbei.
Yeah. But do you think that we're gonna actually see like Imu's powers through Gunko? Because Gunko seems to be like um using part of Imu's powers with the arrows and everything. So maybe like she's kind of the closest to Imu in a way, and like that's why he was able to possess her. So
okay, yeah, well, I think that works.
Yeah,
I think that's a good point. Yeah.
But I mean, there's the potential that all of the Holy Knights and the Gorosei's powers come from Imu. But yeah, I'm interested. I think we might see some of Imu's powers, like in display next chapter. I mean, it's kind of a milestone, 1150. Halfway through another.
Let's go.
Chapters, but yeah, there's just so much in this chapter, from Scopper to Chopper actually doing something, to Brook to Imu.
Usopp
did nothing.
Yeah, no, I just want to put that in.
He says we got to think of an escape plan.
Yep.
But,
progress.
Yeah. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this chapter.
Same. So we will see you guys soon next week. Please like and subscribe if you have not. Leave your comments below on this chapter and your thoughts on it, and we will see you all soon. Peace.
See ya.